many people expected the PDP governors to champion the desire to have power go back to southern Nigeria. But you and your colleague governors of the APC took the decision to push hard for power to go back to the south, and you actually supported a southern aspirant during the presidential primaries of your party. Tell us why it was easy for you to come to this conclusion.
Honestly, it was not very difficult for several reasons. First of all, you know, right from 2019, after President Buhari was elected, some of us approached him privately and asked him what his succession plans were. And in one of the conversations I had with the president, he told me that, look, I have no succession plans. I said, Mr. President, you must be interested in your successor. He said, no, the democratic process will produce a successor. I said, no, sir, it doesn't quite work like that. You must have a thought, you must advert your mind to your legacy and who will preserve your legacy. And he said, okay, you have a point, I will think about it. So this was how we began the conversation. But throughout my conversation with President Buhari, up until I believe it was 2020, he did not even have a position. Then in 2020, I asked him a question. I said, look, where do you want your successor to be from? You don't have to anoint anyone. You don't have to pick anyone. I know how you think. You believe in this democratic process. You were converted from being a military dictator to a democrat when you saw the collapse of the Soviet Union without firing a shot. He has told us this story several times. And he said to me, Nasir, why are you asking me this question? After 8 years as president, the next president of Nigeria, under our arrangement, our unspoken arrangement, must be from the south. I said, thank you, Mr. President. Can I go public with this? And he said, go ahead. People would recall that late in 2019 or early in 2020, I was the first governor to come out and say that the next president of Nigeria must be from the south. And so, to be fair to Mr. President, he has been consistent in private conversations, even in conversation with some of us as a group. He always said, my next successor has to be from the south. So it was not very difficult for those of us in the APC, particularly the Northern Governors, to say, this is the president's position, and we don't need to go back to him. But what happened as the political process started was all kinds of games being played to take control of the party in a way to achieve a certain predetermined conclusion that was not very clear to us at the time. But one of the things that we pushed, and I must say that the Progressive Governors Forum mandated me at a point to go to the president and say, you know, we want you to tell us who you want as chairman of the party. Of course, as usual, the president said, look, why not all of them come out and we vote? We said, no, Mr. President, pick the chairman you are comfortable with. We will all support you. And he said the chairman should be from North Central. And finally, he said Senator Abdullah Adamu. We agreed. Now, once that decision was taken, it was a very clear signal that the next president would be from the South. And so what we did was to say, okay, the current chairman, the last chairman of the party was from South-South, now is going back to North Central, so we flip all positions. South-South go to North Central, North Central go to South-South. That's how we did the rezoning of positions. So having established the leadership of the party and the chairman is Northern, it was simply logical for us that the next president will be from the South, and we were all looking at limiting the competition among the aspirants to picking a Southern candidate. What was of concern to us was at a point when some governors and some senior members of the party from the North began to get calls from some elements in the villa, nudging them to buy forms to contest the presidency. That began to worry us. So some of us went back to the president. Mr. President, what's going on? The president said, my position has not changed. So there were people that wanted President Buhari, believe it or not, outrageous as it may seem, there are people that were planning within our party for another northerner to succeed President Buhari. And for us as Northern APC governors, we had to sit down, look at this situation, look at what we believe our forefathers would do. We are Northerners. We are people of honor. We keep our words. And we respond to kindness with kindness. This is the culture, the political culture in the north. This is what Sir Ahmed Bello Sadon of Sokoto practiced. This is what Tafa Aliyu practiced. This is what Aminu Kano practiced. This is what J.S. Starker practiced. And we talked to ourselves and said, we cannot allow this to make headway. We have to take a position. And all of us, including Governor Badaru of Jigawa, who was encouraged by those elements to buy a form, took the decision that the presidency must go south. We sent a delegation to the president to reaffirm that, and we made it public. That was the second step. The third step was, okay, now among the southerners, can we come to a consensus around who to support, or do we all go to the primaries? Because some of us supported Amechi, some supported Osimbajo, some supported Asiwaju, and so on and so forth, and Fayemi. So again, we had to have other rounds of discussions. Of course, we couldn't come to agreement, all of us, because, one of us, Yahya Bello, was running, and he wasn't going to step down. But still, the momentum was from the Northwest. The Northwest governors, along with Senator Wamako, who represented Sokoto, met, and after several meetings and back and forth, we decided that we'll go with Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a zone. And once that decision was made, Northwest had the momentum, Northeast followed, and North Central also followed to a large extent. And that's how we went to the convention quite confident that, Asiwaju will have the numbers and the momentum. But we're even shocked by the margin, because it was not only the Northern APC governors that supported him, but you can see he had support across the country. And he emerged as a national candidate overwhelmingly. And I want to assure you, as we speak today, all the 22 APC governors, including those that contested for the presidency, are solidly behind this presidential candidature of Asiwaju, and we are doing all we can to ensure it succeeds. But for us as Northern governors, it was a matter of honor. It was a matter of just doing what is right. It's a matter of doing what is fair. And it's a matter of doing what is just. And
I heard you clearly. It means that the story that we were told that the Senate president was the choice of the president was not correct after all.
Well, we had that too. The members of the National Working Committee called us and said that the national chairman had told them that the Senate president is the anointed one. And again, the Northern APC governors asked for a meeting with the president. We went to the president. We said, Mr. President, this is what we are hearing. This is not what you have been telling us in the past 2 to 3 years. Is it true? And the president expressed shock and said, I am not part of this. And right there and then he summoned Garba Shehu to issue a statement that he has not anointed anyone. And he told us very clearly, I have not anointed anyone. Go and bring me 5 Southerners, 5 candidates from the South, and I'll pick one. And we went back as progressive governors now together, not Northern APC governors, but as progressive governors, we met and came up with the names of Vice President Osinbajo, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Governor Rotimi Amechi, Governor David Umahi, and Governor Kaide Fayemi. We took these 5 names to him and said, we believe that any one of these can be a veritable successor to your legacy. They're all former governors, they know how to run institutions, they know how to run states, and so on. and we can work with them. Pick anyone, Mr. President, we will support that person. Now, most of us have our preferences, but we will defer to you because of the love and respect we have for you. And please don't doubt this. All of us have great respect for the president because we know his heart, we know his intention. He's a man of great integrity, and he has the best of intentions all the time. He could be misled, he's human, but the intention is pure. So we went to him and we gave him the 5. And he said, look, you know, these 5, you've made very good choices. I've worked with all of them. They are all excellent. Any one of them can be president. Now you put me in a quagmire. We said, what's the quagmire? Just pick one. Close your eyes and pick one. He said, no, they are all my brothers or children. Let the democratic process produce the winner. And that's how we went to the primaries. The attempt to force a consensus around one person failed because the president insisted the democratic process must produce a person. Now, again, I'm back to those elements in the villa. They were the ones that wanted that candidate, and they didn't even have the courtesy to call us as governors and tell us this is what we want, so that we can have a discussion on the matter or even give our own views. But we didn't matter. We didn't matter. It was convenient to hide behind the president's name and say the president said, as if we cannot go to the president and ask him. And this is their modus operandi. The president said. Now, people like me that can go to the president and say, Mr. President, I was told this, did you say it? Are the most hated. Because I have that relationship with the president, I can always go to him and speak directly. And this is why I'm the enemy of most of them, along with some of us.